This little system right here is going to change generations in your life. I absolutely know it. Stick around, find out how I think you can use Field Notes plus a photo printer to change your family forever. If you're new to this channel, you know that I absolutely love Field Notes. Field Notes are my favorite thing when it comes to notebooks. Yes, I know there are higher quality things out there. I know there are, people tell me there's better notebooks everywhere, but I don't care. I love that Field Notes can go everywhere. They can fit in your pocket. And here's the thing. I have started a system to help my family, my kids specifically, to remember our lives together as they're getting older. I talked about this in a previous video, but what I do is I take a Field Notes notebook and I write down the memories that we have together. And my goal is to do one whole notebook per year, which, hey, if you don't know, Field Notes is like 48 pages. That's not a ton, but that's still like almost a memory a week where you can get it down. And one of the things I wanted to do, I love painting with words and all that. I'm a nerd in that way. But I also wanted to have some physical pictures so that when my kids, I'll probably wait until they're about 25 or so, and say, I hope I'm still alive, we'll see. Look back on this video, John. But is to hand them a box of notebooks with memories and pictures and lessons in life that they've learned. Because the goal for me is to teach my kids to live well in the world that God created and to honor themselves, honor other people, and to love Jesus. And so that's what I like to put into these notebooks right here. You don't have to be a Christian to do that, but that's my perspective. But there's one thing right now that I think the world is just thinking too little of, and that is long-term legacy. If you look throughout history, there were people who had whole cultures built around telling stories and bringing history from one generation to the next, but we are so in the moment right now that I feel like this idea of leaving a lasting legacy of memory and of lesson, it's just kind of going by the wayside. So first and foremost, you need to get yourself a Field Notes notebook. Again, it's one a year, and so for me, I'm only a few weeks into doing this with my kids. But the big thing that I want to talk about in this episode today is this little printer that prints out these beautiful photos. There is something about having physical memories in your hand that you can hold. Like for me, I look at these things and I remember, photos with my wife that I took, my daughter giving the middle finger because she hurt herself. She hurt her finger. She didn't know what she was doing. Yeah, I thought it was funny. Pictures of my son, my wife, like all of these great memories that we have, and something about just holding them in your hand is just absolutely phenomenal. And the reason I did this is yes, we store our photos on, Google Drive or on all that kind of stuff on the cloud. But the reality is man, what happens if something happens to the cloud? If I have these physical photos, yes, something can happen here too, so it's probably best to have them in both places, but there is just something different about holding these photos in your hand. Just like you can swipe through your memory. This was my daughter first learning how to ride a bike. What a fun memory that is, of our family. And so what we do is we actually put them on our piano and kind of spread them out, and the kids will find their picture and put it up to make it seem like they're the favorite kid. But so far I've had zero complaints with this printer, and so I wanted to show you the process of how you can use it to print out your memories, and then the tape that I use to keep them in the Field Notes long term so that one day I can give a whole box to my kids and they can actually enjoy the memories, look back on their lives, and see the lessons that we've learned. So first and foremost, we have to talk about this, the Kodak Mini3 retro printer. It's the P300R. That sounds like a mouthful, and that's because it is, but I will link it down below so you can just click it and buy it, and then I can get filthy stinking rich with the 10 cents I will make off of the affiliate purchase. Now this thing is plastic, but it seems pretty durable, and the cool thing about this is it is completely wireless. So you do charge it. It's got an internal battery that's USB-C right there. You use that to charge it, and then on this side is where the photos actually print out. Inside there's cartridges that you pull in and pull out. The cartridges aren't super expensive. I got a pack of 60 of these photos for only 17 bucks, and so I just bought a few of those at one time. And so it's not crazy expensive. Obviously, there is a cost to it, but I'm glad to pay that. So once you've written down the memory that you have for them, it's as easy as this to print out the photo. You do need to get the Kodak app, and then once you're here, you just kind of pick the photo that you want to pick. Bring it close to the printer, and I want to show you how it's unique, how it works. Once you have the picture you want, what I like to do, I like to add the border on it. It just kind of gives it a little bit more of that vintagey look. You can kind of go monochrome and all that kind of stuff. I don't like that. I like, full color pictures. You can change the brightness and all that, but for me, man, it's all about that kind of vintage look. So you take that, hit print. It takes a second to start printing, And then it does this really cool 3-pass, where the first pass does, I think it's red and then blue and then yellow, something like that in that color range. And then you have a fully done photo. So yeah, first it's yellow, and then the photo goes back in and it does another pass with the next color. The second one is red. Then it does a third pass, which is blue or cayenne. And then what I love is the final pass through. It just puts like a layer on top of it where it laminates it so that the photo doesn't get messed up. And then just like that, your digital memory is now a beautiful little photo that you can have for your family. And then you take this memory, write the memory out, stick it in your field notes just like this, and all of a sudden they have an awesome memory of whatever that moment was. I want to show you the tape I use as well. This tape is the Scotch removable tape. It's a really clear tape, and it is removable, which is kind of nice. Now, I don't know like long term how this is going to hold up entirely, but I do think, you know, so far it feels very sticky. It feels fine. Like, who knows about like 10 years from now what it's going to look like. And so I'll keep you guys updated on the process of how it works, but all you got to do, you tape this in just at the top little level so that they can fold it up, see the whole memory, kind of like this, where you just kind of fold it up and she can read everything I wrote. And you just do one of these a year. It's not an overwhelming amount of work, and it's just really special. I mean, can you imagine your parents giving you something like this? I do know people have said that they're going to do like email accounts and stuff like that to their kids. That's absolutely cool. But there's just, for me, there's something about the physical world, something about things that are tangible that you can put in your hand, that your kids can see your handwriting and all that. There's just something about it that I absolutely love. And then once you have a whole box of these, once you've done this for years and years and years, Field Notes actually sells a box that you can keep. It's like the size of a Field Notes, which is really cool. And so there's just something about it that I think is really special. It's like magical for me. And I know it's going to change my kids' lives, but really for me, like being able to look back on these memories is just so special. So even if it doesn't change them and the way that they live and all that kind of stuff, at least for me, it was just a great like transformative process along the way. So let me know in the comments below, are you planning on doing this legacy notebook system? I think it's really helpful, but I really want to hear, maybe you have ways to improve upon it. Let us know in the comments below. Like this video if you found it helpful. Sub to the channel if you're new here. Thanks guys for watching. I'll see you all in the next one.